In a few moments, we're going to go live and talk about how you leverage public relations, that's PR, in a modern marketing strategy. Welcome to the Never Been Promoted podcast and YouTube channel. I'm on a mission to help you cut the time to all the things that are holding you back so you can unleash your entrepreneur. Oh, I was late. I usually come in right after that. You know, sometimes technology is hard, folks, but not as hard as using PR into your strategy, or is it? Hey, thank you for coming today. Thomas Selfrick here. I am your host of Never Been Promoted. We are going to be discussing today, like how to use PR. That's public relations in a modern marketing strategy. It is something that a lot of people don't leverage correctly or at all. And we have Lilian Raji, who's an expert and has an agency and an advisory on this. If this is your first time here, I want to be very clear what our mission is. It is to help entrepreneurs get better at entrepreneurship. Now, entrepreneurship is hard, and you have to learn along the way. And there's lots of things you need to kind of cut the tie to, right? Your fears, your excuses, some people in your life. Usually that person is your old version of yourself, to be fair. But you're going to have to do this, and you can do this a little bit more effectively, you know, in these kind of micro mentoring situations like we have here with our guests. Is learn one thing from their journey. Learn one thing from what they're doing in the world today, and it'll make you just a little bit better at entrepreneurship, because all those little things, if you can do them better, you'll start doing the bigger things better too. So, simple call to action for me. Listen, guys, if you love this stuff, please, go and follow the YouTube channel or go to subscribe at Never Been Promoted is the thing. So youtube.com at Never Been Promoted. And if you're listening to the podcast, take a moment, not while driving, but pull over, do a 5-star review. It makes a big difference for the community and the guests to getting our messages out there. All right, enough shameless promotion. Let's go ahead and bring in Lilian. How are you, Raji?
I am well, Thomas. How are you?
I'm good. I don't have nearly as many books as you have, but have you read all those books?
I always get asked this question. I read about 70% of it, but you have to keep in mind that some of these I started collecting when I was 16. So 16 to whatever my age is right now, it's a compilation of all that. So
32. So you've doubled in age since doing
Absolutely. Yes.
Right. Is there one book on there you're afraid to read?
Is there one book on here I'm afraid to read?
Like you pick it up and you're like, I don't know if I can.
No, because I'm a fucking idiot. I just rush into things, and then when I'm in it, I'm like, oh, what the fuck have I done? And then I put it down. So all of the books I've at least opened at some point, start reading. I'm like, oh my God, this is going to blow my mind. Let me step back. So, yes.
How many of those books are like 82% through?
That's a good question. I've never been asked that one. I've been asked how many I've read. How many are 82% through? Maybe, okay, if I say I've read 65, 70, maybe about 50% of that 65, 70 are 82% through.
Like you got it.
For the most part.
You're like, I got the concept. We're good, right?
Yeah.
I get it.
No, one of the things I found fascinating about my library is like whenever I'm stressed about something, I'll come in here and I'll just pull a book, and whatever the right answer is in that book, I found. So which is how it ends up not being complete, because, oh my God, I've gotten the wisdom out of it. Now I don't need you anymore. Go back in the shelf. So
it's the touch of the entrepreneurial ADD. That's what I tell people. It's like, when you read it, you're like, this, I got what I needed out of it in this moment. Next book.
Time to go.
Totally.
Exactly.
Do you want to take a moment here and set up kind of the credentials of why everyone listening and watching this should trust Lilian Raji?
So I started my career. What did we say? How old did we say I am? 32.
32.
All right. So 7 years ago, I started my career in PR. I started my career in PR because no agency would hire me. I got into PR right after September 11th, when there was a hiring freeze in the industry. I'd fallen in love with the industry, but I kept going on interviews and I kept failing every single interview. So I decided I would start by freelancing for a while and hoping that when the hiring freeze lifted, I can enter the PR world, an agency completely ready to start at a higher level. What I didn't know then is that agencies don't like to hire people who've been freelancing too long, because, as is true of me, we're too stubborn to do what they want. So ultimately, I built my own, I set myself up for creating my own agency by the way that I started. And everything I know from PR, I learned from the School of Hard Knocks. And for that reason, I do things very differently than traditional agencies. And also for that reason, journalists trust me and like to work with me, because I never picked up the bad habits that happen at an agency. My company is named after me because, one, I wasn't creative enough to come up with a different name, but two, because it stands for everything that I am. So when companies hire me, they have my reputation and my commitment to excellence in what I do. So you're listening to me because I know my shit. I've grew entirely by referral. I've never done any big major, I've never been promoted. And so everything, all my clients over the past 20 years has come strictly from referrals, because I'm good at what I do. That's why you should listen to me.
Well, I mean, by the way, not being promoted is not a prerequisite. It just gets you into the inner circle club later. So you'll be there. Everyone else will be fogging up the windows going, what's going on in there? I'd be like, it's a bunch of entrepreneurial ADD people talking about how it could have been. Anyway, I would think some of you getting hired also has to do with your own PR work for yourself, right? I mean, like, are the tailor's kids naked, or do you leverage your own techniques for your own benefit?
No, the tailor's kids are naked. And I have been realizing that. So my life is taking a bit of a transition over the last 2 years. Unfortunately, my mom passed away last year, and I stopped working for 2 years to take care of her. 1 year to take care of her, and then 1 year to grieve. And then now I started coming back. So, when we started this talk here, you asked me which website do you want me to promote? Well, I started a second website called the PR Advisor because I wanted to use it as a way to commoditize my business. My Lilian Raji Agency, I work with huge clients that pay me a shit ton of money, is the official term for it. Right. But working with clients that pay me a shit ton of money means I can only accept 3 retainer clients at a time. Whereas with the PR Advisor, it's more of an advisory role for me supporting entrepreneurs. So therefore, I can work with multiple clients at a time, because I'm not the one doing the execution. My agency does the execution. The PR Advisor just advises. So having said that, trying to promote the PR Advisor has been a fucking headache because I did not know how to do it. I did not know how to promote myself. I've been throwing everything on the wall and seeing what sticks. And finally, this morning, writing in my journal, I'm like, you know what? You think you know what people need, and you do know what people need, but those people don't know that they need exactly what it is they're telling them you need. So you need to learn how to listen to them. So now my new strategy moving forward after I get off this call is to try and figure out, going on a listening tour and figuring out what my target audience prefers to hear, so that I rewrite my marketing materials towards what they prefer to hear. Even though I'm still going to do what I know is right for them, but what I know is right for them and what they think is right for them is always a different conversation. So,
well, it is. I mean, I think the idea of PR sometimes is, well, actually do this. Before we get that, define what public relations actually kind of means. What is it? Because to me, it has a number of meanings, but at least with you and your clients, how do you define what PR is?
What is PR? I guess my simplest thing it's because I focus on consumer PR on my agency side. I would say it's me teaching my clients how to convince customers to do what they want. So in my case, how to convince their customers to spend $10,000, $15,000 on a watch. That is what PR is. It's finding a way to really connect your target customer, speak their language, and let them see your perspective in a way that makes sense to them. That would be how I would define PR.
Got it.
And for that, there's different strategies that allow for that.
It's changing someone's perception of something to evoke an action, right? So, and it could be from like buying something to, hey, this person was arrested and now we got to change their PR to look how good they are with the world now, and they're helping babies and giving money away. And so it's changing perception. But in this modern kind of world of marketing, the old PR of maybe buying time on TV or something, like talk about maybe the old, the bad habits you talked about, and maybe you start where is it going? Like, what's the better way to do it nowadays?
Actually, I like the old way because the new way has gotten more complicated. Okay. Because the old way was about relationships with the press, right? It was about giving them the right story at the right time and honoring all their demands about the story. Now, because of the internet, which I love, as a lover of knowledge, I love the internet. I love the vastness of information that I can get, especially get them quickly. But at the same time, it's forced the journalists that I used to work with to have to, their companies anyway, to have to find a different way to monetize because print is dying. So now, in order for me to do my job, I need to be able to get my clients convinced that they need to be on an affiliate network. Because whereas 5 years ago, I can get somebody in, let's say, a Vogue magazine or a Raw Report, and they only have to pay me. Now I need to make sure the client is on what's called an affiliate network, because if Vogue or Raw Report decide to do that story on them, they want a cut of the sale that happens because of that story. So it's made my industry a bit more complicated because it's no longer about the relationships I have with the journalists. And that is only, to be clear, that's only on the consumer media side. On the New York Times, Bloomberg sides, my relationships are still solid because they don't have New York Times, Bloomberg, Wall Street Journal. They have what's called church and state. So regardless of who writes anything good about me, about my client, there cannot be any crossover. There cannot be any financial benefit to the article that's written. Whereas with consumer publications, now they're looking for that affiliate link to say, hey, if this article gets you sales, we want a cut of those sales. Yeah. So, which is
it kind of smashes the integrity of it a little bit. So,
yeah,
a lot of it actually, because it's harder to trust unless it's more of a marketplace as opposed to an affiliate, right? Because then it's like, all right, I go here to find interesting things and done. To trust media, knowing if the Wall Street Journal is like, hey, every time someone clicks this article, we're getting 82 cents. It would make you not trust the article nearly as much. Like it would not trust the content.
Exactly. But with that also said, New York Times has something called Wirecutter. So they still have gotten into a little bit of the role that the consumer magazines have gotten into too, but they're very explicit with it. And to be fair, let me clarify this before I pitch it. Before the media people come to my door with pitchforks and fire and ready to throw me off my balcony. It is mentioned. You will see when you read articles that says we may get a cut of the sale. So it is mentioned that there is something coming.
It's usually probably small text, very gray and hard to see.
Exactly. But it's there. I must legally state that it is there, that for you to know that. New York Times Wirecutter, though, is very explicit about, hey, if you buy something, we're going to get a cut. But where I get my clients in the business sections, all that doesn't apply.
Gotcha. And so okay, let's delineate here a little bit. So what's one of the worst habits you've seen in a PR agency? What's the one you just like, I'm never doing that? Like what's it maybe in terms of how it helps or hurts or how it hurts a customer versus helps the PR agency. What's the worst one?
Well, I am also transitioning into writing now. So I have a Forbes column now. And so I'm now like straddling the line between a PR person and a journalist. And so I've been really shocked by my experiences with other PR people. Very, very, very simple one that makes me insane. I'm part of this group called PR Czars, where it's full of journalists and PR people, and we pitch ideas to each other and blah, blah, blah. Every time I say I'm working on the story idea, please do not DM me on Facebook. Every single time. I'm sure you know where the story is going. If some fuckwad DMs me on Facebook. And it's like, I'm trying to do you a favor. I'm trying to help you help your clients. So please follow my instructions. And there's a reason why I don't want to be DM on Facebook, because my email is integrated to my CRM. So anytime any emails that come to me automatically get logged into my CRM so that I can go back and see your name and continue our conversation. That can happen with DMs on Facebook. So it's you have these things that's like it's simple instructions.
Or could it with a Zapier? Should we talk about that? How you could automate that in the background?
Yeah, I don't want to. I don't want to. Just I'm doing you a favor, right? I'm getting your client an article in Forbes that you're not paying for. So just do me this one simple favor and just email me. That's it.
You heard it, people. No Facebook. Okay, she's anti-meta. You've heard it. What's one of the new kind of good trends? I'm making the assumption that, to me, always PR was like, oh my God, you have to have so much money to go do it. But with technology and this other pieces, I feel like that brings in a different, like an individual, a solopreneur. So maybe talk about like where the new benefits are and who that opens it up to, with the leading question of what I said. That was my perception of it. I don't know if that's true or not, but is that one of the benefits, or is there something that's even more powerful going on right now?
No, there is something more powerful going on. But in between, as I said, PR originally being about journalist relationships and building. Now we have what's called a PESO model, which I'm a big proponent of, and it's necessary. PESO stands for paid, earned, shared, and owned. Paid, of course, is simple advertising. Any advertising you do, that's paid. Earned is the traditional model of PR where we use our relationship with journalists to get that article. Shared is the content that is made on social media that gets shared, that helps promote you, which is doing more for you than a journalist, that one journalist article. So if you have something on Instagram and one of your followers shares it with other people, that's helping bring that publicity to you. And then the owned, which is the one that I'm excited about, but it's also the most labor intensive, is you creating your own newsletter and getting people to follow you on those newsletters. You having a magazine on your website, or a blog, however you want to call it. And that is also doing the work that a journalist used to do. Back in the day, we were reliant on journalists to get our word out. Now, because of the internet, because of social media, companies can now get that same audience. And then PR tends to now be a reaffirmation of what a customer initially thought about you.
Okay, so take me through an example, right? So let's use an example. I'm a marketing agency. There's there's hundreds of thousands of marketing agencies, and they're all the greatest. Sorry.
Absolutely.
They've hired you. Let's call it a small team solopreneur. Like it's just representative of a lot of U.S. agencies. What's the scenario, that you take them through to get the most value? Because I think understanding how to implement it, like here's why you haven't hired me, because you think this, and this is why you should hire a PR advisor so you can get that. Like, take me through that scenario. I mean, because I think in details helps understand when to use it. Because I think most people are like, I still haven't a clue where to use a PR person. So okay. How do you do it?
The funny thing is, about 75% of my clients come to me after they've been burned by other PR people. I'm the one. Lilian is known for getting shit done. Also, Lilian is known for not caring about your feelings. Fuck your feelings. We have work to do. So, buyer beware. I like to tell people. For me, though, the way I start working with the clients is I go through an onboarding session with them, and they go through this exhaustive questionnaire that I give them. It makes them crazy. They yell at me, they challenge me, but I'm like, no, you need to finish this questionnaire, because the questionnaire helps me see where their mind is at with their business. Then and also the questionnaire also helps us set up the metrics for which will define success for our relationship 6 months down the line. A lot of agencies aren't focused on that. I focus on that, because at the end of the day, once you pay me my fee, all I care about is delivering for you. Because again, my company has grown exclusively by referrals. So I live and die by my reputation. So once we're selling on a fee, all I care about is giving you the results, which is why I don't care about your feelings. I only care about the results I'm going to give you. So when I look at the onboarding, it gives me a sense like, okay, you're telling me that this is where you've tried PR in the past and it's failed. Let's explore why it failed. What did the previous agency miss in terms of communicating? A lot of the times is because the previous agency will cookie cutter you, and try to use specific strategies that they've worked for other clients that don't necessarily work for you, because there's something missing. They're missing one little element in your story. To be more precise, I am part of the venture mentoring team. It is a volunteer organization of some of the most brilliant minds in the world. All of us have reached a place in our career that we want to help entrepreneurs really build their business. So we all volunteer and we all sign an edict that we will never financially benefit in any way from the companies that we mentor. I was in a call with the team, and we were going through this case study, and the case study was showing us about a business owner who wanted to expand her bakery business around Miami, and they do a video that talks about what it is that they want to do, and then everybody on the team, we have to look in and try to figure out why we would want to work with her. I was the only one on the team that saw that she began her statement by saying, "I would like to serve." And for me, that told me like, okay, her mentality is not about making a shit ton of money, even though she wants it. Her first and foremost priority is serving her customers. So from that, when we had the discussion, the person leading the discussion, he says, "We've done this case study for 2 years. Lilian, you're the only person who got that was her interest, was to serve the people." Whereas, and they were like, she was really patient with us, but it took some time for us to get it. But you got it immediately, because the number one thing that is necessary to help anybody is that you have to listen to them. So that's what my onboarding is about. My onboarding is about listening to you, and then from me knowing exactly where you are, then it's like, okay, these are the avenues I think we need to go to get you to where you want to be.
Right. So an example of PR that I'm going with,
okay,
and I get nothing for this, is I've been asking the question, does water taste better out of a Stanley? And the only question I answer it with, or the only answer is, fuck yeah. I would have thought that would have trended like instantly on like TikTok. It doesn't, because that's the only thing all I say is, fuck yeah.
But are you using a video, or are you just using words?
It's me just going like this.
Oh, you're giving us blue steel. You're giving us a Zoolander blue steel while you're doing it. I love it. Maybe we need to reevaluate how you executed it. Yes.
But that to me is fantastic PR for Stanley, of which I just, it's a dream to get them to sponsor me. I don't know why, because I think it'd be cool, because water does taste better out of a Stanley. All right, let's move on.
Before we move on, this is what I would recommend you to do.
That's what I was going to ask you. What would the next recommendation be? That was going to move.
Go to LinkedIn and find who the either communications, PR, CMO, or marketing director is, and send them the link. And
you call Stanley? Oh, we're talking about how to do this.
Yes, of your little snippet, and say, I would love. This is who I am. This is.
I drink it every show.
Well, I'm also in the top 10%, like as you shared with me earlier. I would love to see if there's something we could do together. And that's how we get started.
You're going to be like, here's an affiliate link. I'm like, God damn it.
Well, you could try the affiliate link, but then yes, I'm happy to give you to do the affiliate link, but I really think there's more that we can do together. Again, don't take no for an answer. Come on now. You know this, Thomas. Don't take no for an answer.
They're going to be like, you're a spammer. Get off my LinkedIn DM. I'll be like, all right, fine. No, I really was going to ask. So what does someone do next? So what's a good place to start? And the reason I say that is, in a commoditized business, in marketing was our example. You have a process to get them to get to know them, but from an overarching strategy, what should they be doing, or how do you do that? Like, is it a niche? Is it how do you get differentiators through PR when you're in a commoditized business? And a lot of times there's just not a differentiator. So how do you leverage storytelling or what you're doing to give that differentiator? Because that's what I'd want to know. Because I'd want to hire someone and say, hey, I want a differentiator. I just don't know how to use PR, so to speak, to do it.
Well, the thing is, you're right. Differentiators are are difficult because how many companies you see that say they're the best at this or they're best at that? The way you do it is with storytelling, which again, you hit on that immediately. If I tell you I'm the best, then I'm going to tell you why I'm the best. A lot of companies don't go into the why they're the best, or they go into why they're the best because, we work hands-on with our clients, we do this, we do that. But when I say I work hands-on with my clients, I number one, I say immediately, I don't care about your feelings. I only care about getting the work done because that is my focus. That is my understanding of who you are. That is my understanding of why you've hired me. So we're going to start that, and I'm going to hold your hand, and we're going to get you exactly where you want to be. You're not going to hear that from an agency. And if you do, you're going to see that the experience is very different than what the experience is that I offer. So the best way for me to answer your question, and I'm going to go through a session with you that you were not expecting, Thomas. All right.
I'm ready for it.
So
hold on, we can take a water drink.
Okay. I'm fortunate I don't have a Stanley Cup, but
if you upgrade your sponsorship to the top level, you get one customized.
I get a Stanley Cup. Oh my God. I mean, I think I'm sold.
You get it with that. You get with never been promoted on it. And
oh my God, that's even better. I think I'm sold.
That's hot. I mean, that shit's hot. His water does taste better out of a Stanley, just so you know. It does.
So you're coming to me. We're on this call and you're like, how can I use PR to promote myself? Is that correct?
Well, listen, like when I have no differentiators, usually the human is the differentiator. Someone trusts you more. But in a commoditized market, this is where I think PR could be effective in storytelling. To me, I wouldn't know how to do that. So I think just going through here's an example, a representative example of with a client or how you could do that, I think is helpful to anyone listening because it also drives the value of what PR is for an organization, which it's not on their radar half the time until they have money or they're bigger. And I don't think it has to be. I think actually there's a spot for it in smaller business and for entrepreneurs starting out. It's just how do you do that?
So for you, I would say if you look at your YouTube channels, wherever you post, what are the comments that you receive about the show?
Where they're in the comments.
No one ever comments on your show. You never get any.
I mean, they do. Yes, it's kind of all over the map. Like you get some randos in there, so we hide quite a few and keep the other ones in there. But yeah,
I mean, some of the crazy is good.
But we get some positives like, hey, this helps. Thanks. A lot of times it's people who are customers of our guests. And it's usually like, this really helps entrepreneurship. It's really, it's insightful, those kind of things. It's positive generally that we leave out there.
Okay. So remember how we began this conversation with, I'm losing my mind in the PR advisor because I was trying to tell people what they need instead of listening to what they're telling me. This is what applies to you. Go to your comments and see the words that they're using to describe you. And you're going to have to go through many, many different comments. And even the ones that call you an idiot, let's find out why. Why do you think I'm an idiot? Go through all of them.
They never reply. Trolls never engage. I'm like, hey, why am I an idiot? And they don't do that. It's funny. I'd leave it out there though. Anyway, it's because I'm not an idiot and they know it.
No, they just want your attention. That's all.
I know.
Or you were just too handsome for them. And like, you know what? I can't find anything.
I did get a comment one time, McSteamy, which is from Grey's Anatomy. I was like, we will show that comment endlessly. That's a good one. I've been telling my wife that for years.
Well, there you go. That's one of your.
I don't want to be a sex object.
Why not? Sex sells. No.
Is that the Blue Oyster Club?
But
I think it is.
I don't remember. Okay. Anyway, I see you and I are going to end up here in
There's gonna be an ADD fest, and then everyone's like, "What the hell are you talking about?" And like, this is PR, people. We just distract you until we say bye now.
We're gonna end up in the ADHD loop because you and I are.
No, we're not. We're coming back. Yes. I've got an ADHD.
But no, we'll find our way back. We'll find our way back. You're right.
20 to 30 days from now, I'll email you. Do you remember when we were talking? All right, so we're gonna come back.
Okay.
What do I do? How do I do it?
Again? So one of the things I will also do with a client, depending on what I'm getting back from the onboarding, is I'll suggest a survey. So for you, your survey is you already have a place for a survey because people are commenting. You just have to start looking at those comments with a more critical eye instead of just like, oh, thanks, he said that. But look for the comments, and there are people out there that just tell you more than they're just praising you. Figure out why it is that they're praising. What words are they using to praise you? Because that will help you determine exactly your differentiator. And on top of that, you can also ask your audience, hey guys, why do you watch my show? Simple question. The first 100 people to tell me why they watch my show are going to be entered into a contest to win this nice Stanley Cup with the logo on it.
I like
that's
that.
Where, that's where
that's
you need
the next
to
video. I'm going to shoot that video today. It's like, I'm going to send a Stanley Cup customized to one of your comments. If you can tell me what's the contest, let's do that. That's a great PR trick. I love that. We're going to implement that this afternoon. Low budget video, putting it out in a short. I'm going to give a Stanley customized. And what's the contest? I'm asking them, why do you watch the show? What's the best answer to that?
Yes.
Is that it? Okay.
Yes. And you want to read all the answers, however.
I'll read them out live and then I'll pick it. I think that's a good one.
But no, that is a PR strategy, but or a tactic, but we are going back to the strategy of it. All right. Let's not lose sight of why we're doing this. Yes, it is good publicity for you, but then you really do need to read the comments, because the comments are going to give you your differentiator. What the people say to you is like, why do you watch me instead of Tim Ferriss? You know, this is your differentiator.
To be honest, they probably should watch Tim Ferriss. I should just be an additive to them.
But what are your opinions of me compared to Tim Ferriss? You know, that's going to give you where your differentiator is. And it could be the fact that Tim Ferriss is way too big right now, and they love the fact that you're more intimate. And for that reason, that's one of your value propositions. Yes, Tim Ferriss is a god. I am godlike.
He may be a god adjacent. I don't think he's a full god. God adjacent.
God adjacent. All right. And I am God adjacent like. So I am Tim Ferriss before you became Tim Ferriss. Grow with me. Be part of my tribe before I become the next Tim Ferriss. So there's different ways you can do the marketing, your messaging, but ultimately you want to start with what the consumers want.
I like that. I like some of the hack tricks too of I want to give this away. And I love the idea that you get the survey of like, give me real answers. Humor's encouraged.
Yeah.
Brutal honesty also encouraged. Lying to me, tell me I'm good looking, also seriously encouraged. You see what I did there? Do you see that, people? So here's a strategy. You have a strategy. She's saying is when I'm gonna validate what you said by repeating, make sure I got it. Is that you learn from your audience what your differentiator is, why people chose you. And I think probably the flip side is any honest people, like, I didn't choose you because of these reasons. I think if you can get that, that's awesome. That one's going to hurt. Just get ready for that. But like, if you can collect that data, that allows you then to focus on what the people liked so you could do more of it. The
Absolutely.
trick might be that might be out of brand for you. And so talk to me when it's like, oh, I love it when you go on rants about something else and we just find that funny. But you're like, but my mission is to help entrepreneurs, not talk about Stanley's. And the truth is, what do you do when sometimes maybe it's fine, but like, what do you do when it's maybe not in brand?
The fact that they recognize it in you, it means that it is in brand. You just don't realize it for yourself. So here's the thing about making money. Here's the thing about having a business. What you want to do and what people are going to pay for are always two completely different things.
Oh, that is. Could you say that again? That's the most truthful statement.
Once again,
Here, I'm going full screen on that one. You go. Say that one more time.
What you want to do and what people are willing to pay for are always two completely different things.
Okay.
And again, it goes back to what I said earlier about the PR advisor and why I'm having this headache, because it's like, I want to do this for you, but no, Lilian, we want this. So now I have to refigure my own strategy so that I'm approaching it based on what they want. Now, there is a way to give people what they want and still do what you want to do. And that's the miracle trick. But first you have to make people like, oh, wow, I get this. I'm connecting with this. And if they love your rants, then by all means. Oh my God, what's that guy's name? You're Gen X like me, right? So you should know this guy.
Definitely Gen X. Wait, you're 32. You're not Gen X.
Oh yes, that's right. I forgot. I'm 32.
If you were, you'd be.
If I was a Gen X, right? What was the dude's name with the red hair? He was on that show about firemen. Why can't I think of his name? And he's in one of my favorite love movies because I'm twisted. But the Thomas Crown Affair. What was this guy's name? Oh God!
He got red hair, and he's on Thomas
Red
Crown
hair.
Affair?
Yes. They're not the original, but the remake with Pierce Brosnan. Give me 1 second. I'll tell you his name.
The only redhead I thought was Julia Roberts, but or maybe she wasn't even in that.
No, it's a guy. It's a guy because he started his career like screaming and ranting. You know who I'm talking about. I know you know who I'm talking about. Let me find his
New York
name.
accent pop out, people. Did you hear that?
Oh my God. Oh, did that come out?
Yeah, she got excited, and the New York came out right in her. All right.
Yeah, if I'd been drinking though, the Nigerian would have come out because that's what I really am. I'm Nigerian. Denis Leary. Do you remember?
Denis Leary, yes.
Yes.
I
Do you
remember redheaded. That's what threw me for a loop. Like, you redheaded?
He used to.
I didn't know he was a ginger. Oh.
He used to.
I don't know if I like him anymore.
You don't like him anymore?
Well, he's a ginger. Who can like gingers? I'm saying that because my 100th episode is going to be Wes Bergman. Wes Bergman is a ginger that was on reality shows, and so he's on tonight with me. Anyway, I'm just in the mood to make fun of gingers right now. So I keep going. Denis Leary, I like you. He is a great ranter.
Yes.
Please continue though. So the point was he was a ranter, but
he was a ranter, and he built his career around being a ranter. Him and that other guy, that guy's dead. Sam something or other. I think he's dead.
Yeah, Sam Kinison. Yeah, it was dead.
Yeah. So they built their business, and I'm pretty sure their career did not start with them being a ranter, but they leveraged that what people enjoyed, and now Denis Leary does not rant anymore. You see how he just worked his way into what he actually wanted to do.
Oh, I didn't realize he doesn't rant anymore. It's probably why I don't see him in movies anymore because I like him. You're proving your point.
Yes.
Well, look, actually, here's another example. So we're going to use movies. So we're going to tie this back to entrepreneurship. So Jim Carrey, everyone loved because he was kind of a crazy comedian, did like funny things and kind of did crazy contortions. You don't hear from him as much because he wanted to become more of a serious actor, and people were like, yeah, I don't want anything to do with that. I don't want to buy that from you. We want to buy the Jim Carrey we knew. And so his touch of crazy combined with trying to be serious didn't work. And I think the idea is that you know, the Venn diagram of what you're good at, what your people want to buy, and the market, you know, the little Venn that sits in the middle of where you should focus, it doesn't always line up. And what you're saying to me, though, is PR can help line that up for you. And so you can at least break the tip of spear to get them what they want, and then they can discover more that you have.
Yes. And if I don't do personality PR because I fucking hate celebrities. It's babysitting. I don't like it. But if I had been advising Jim Carrey at that time, I would have told him to continue doing serious roles while doing the comedic ones. So because he went from being a comedian to doing that, was it The Eternal Sunshine?
Yeah,
that one, and then the other one, the one that predicted reality TV. What was the? That one. If he had continued just balancing both, eventually people would have been able to start seeing him as both. But it seemed like he gave up. Now, I don't know enough about Hollywood. Maybe he just couldn't get hired for more serious roles or whatever. But that's what I would do, is like, you give people what you want and then introduce a little bit of yourself. Give people, introduce until they start to see you as both instead of just one and the other. And then when they start seeing you as both, then you can start going more towards what you really want to do. And a lot of actors have done that. A lot of actors have started in comedic roles, and now they're taken more seriously.
And well, I think the good example that I think you'll see him pop up as he gets older in more like the dad role, smaller roles. Like, hey, that's Jim Carrey, and like he'll reinvent. Now, to do that as a business owner, sometimes you have these pivots where you need to reinvent. I believe this is when you should be, by the way, in PR, because you can't wait 10 years to get older and do these things. I'll give you an example. In our own company of Instantly Relevant, right? We've forever been a growth LinkedIn agency. We have these services that help people grow on LinkedIn without being spammy. Takes a ton of my time. It's not the most scalable business. It's a great business, but it's not super scalable. And it, like I said, takes lots of my time. And my passion is around helping entrepreneurs. And so they're competing on time. But we have a new line of service that has the ability to, we verify PR agencies. We verify marketing agencies' ability to deliver, because it gives you a big cred to say, hey, these people actually talk to my customers and they can't be bought. Like, we pay for the service of, but it doesn't guarantee I get verified. And the point being is that is a different brand. And this is where PR might be a good spot for us, even to be like, hey, let's go get you out there in a new light to say, this is how you would do that. Here's an article you could run about the importance of these things. So in our own example, I see the need of getting out there and rebranding away from my personal brand, but more around a service. And I think if you're an owner out there and you're thinking of a new service or you have something out there, I think this is where you could leverage public relations to help drive that a little faster, not having to wait organically 4 or 5, 10 years when someone already knows you in other light. I assume you've seen stuff like this in other businesses where they've made a pivot. They're trying to get something new market.
Can I share with you a little bit of trauma I had recently?
Yeah. I mean, listen, the more you bleed on the table, the better the numbers get on the
Okay,
podcast.
perfect. Yes, absolutely. All right. We'll have a therapy session. So I was invited to do a webinar that teaches people how to get PR for themselves. And it's contractor. I'm sorry. Not contractors, consultants, independent consultants, people who left McKinsey and Bain and all of that stuff to go out on their own and be entrepreneurs. So I spent time putting together this lovely webinar full of details, and only 2 people showed up, which this is the first time I've ever had a webinar with only 2 people show up. Usually I get 100, 200, everything. So I'm traumatized by the experience. So I'm going to try and learn from my pain by sharing what the 998 other people that should have shown up for that webinar missed, which is what you need to do as a business to get your own publicity. So if you don't mind me sharing some of the tips that the 998 people missed by not being on the webinar.
I mean, listen, I don't want you to have another traumatic experience. If I said no right now, I'm a giant dick. But actually, I do want to know, because I think this is the point. I want, give me the top 3 tips, because I want them to contact you to get the other ones. So here are the 3 things that were most important at that webinar, that the arrogance of Boston Consulting Group and McKinsey and what have you, those dickwads who can't be on. There's only like a handful of ones that I would probably talk to ever, because they are very douchey with their Harvard degrees.
No, but these are people who've left them. So
I know they got fired. We don't want to talk to them. They're losers now. They know it. That's why they had a fear of being found out. They had giant imposter syndrome, and the douche. Do you see what I'm doing right now? I'm not being a nice person, but the truth is, some of these people are very arrogant. Anyway, please continue. Not all of them, but the advice they didn't get, we're going to get for free right now. Go.
I think you and I would just cause so much trouble if I really unleash my mouth. But I'm gonna keep the PR role and not engage.
Yeah, I mean, you got to keep on brand.
I'm not going to let you engage the mean girl in me, because I am.
I'm trying to draw her out. I see it.
Yeah, I know you are, and I'm like
little worms in there. Like, she's going to take that bait.
Yeah, nope. No, this is going to be forever.
Pro, guys. I'm trying to bring her out on a rant, but she won't do it. All right, give me the top 3. I got to be conscious of time here. Give me the top 3. Okay, this is what we're going to do. You're going to be the top 3, and then you're going to tell people how to get a hold of you so you can actually help them really navigate. Because I will tell you, people listening, I've had some conversation with her. She's brilliant. And to say that you care about your customers, it might be an understatement. And it may be almost a little bit stalkerish how much you like them. But top 3, let's do it.
But don't forget, I don't care about your feelings. I only care about results. So
that's why they should hire you, because you're gonna give them what they need in the context of what they want. So
I'm going to traumatize them, but their business will never be better. So
top 3, do it. Here we go.
All right. Number 1, make a list of all the journalists, writers, articles, blogs, whatever that you follow. Who is the person that writes it? And start to stalk them. Stalk them all over the internet, on LinkedIn, on social media, everything, and start building the relationship with them. And when I say build a relationship, I mean start commenting. And when I say commenting, I don't mean you're right and that's a great idea. No, actual thought about, wow, that was a brilliant thing that you just posted about, and this is why I think it's brilliant. You start building a relationship that way, so that when something happens that we in the PR world called an opportunity to newsjack. Newsjack means that something is going on in the world right now, and every reporter is looking for a source to talk about, to give their insights into their vision and their thoughts about it. Journalists are looking for somebody to talk to. So when you start building these relationships with them, you can immediately email them and message them. Like one of the examples I gave, if everybody saw the Olympics, we all know about that breakdancer that, I don't think I need to elaborate more on the breakdancer, but a way that a person could have newsjacked is a chiropractor could have contacted the the Today Show and say, hey, I'm watching that breakdancer. She's doing so many moves that are very detrimental to her body and her back. And I'm seeing all these TikTok video of people hurting themselves trying to copy her. If you bring me on your show, I can tell your viewers about ways to protect themselves while they're trying to breakdance. So that's an example of newsjacking. So we have this going on right now, and here's a way for me to get on your show, or even an article, if you're working on an article on it, and say, hey, these are my thoughts on it. So The value of all of this is that now you are getting people to know about you beyond referrals, beyond cold calling, beyond anything. Somebody reads you, sees you on the Today Show or whatever show, or reads about your comment. They're going to go to your website and try and figure out who you are. So those are the 3 things I have for you. And I can continue.
What was the last one? I got the first 2, which is stalk them legally with comments.
Stalk them legally. Contact them to Newsjack. And then the third is, well, actually, oh my God, which of the third am I going to give you? Paying attention to what's going on in the news, and use that as a way to Newsjack and get yourself included.
So it's tied to that. So I think the third was actually then take the action of emailing them and being a pundit of some sort, some kind of expert that can further the conversation.
Exactly. Because
the journalists are looking for, okay, we've already killed the core of this story that was funny. It was this, got kicked out, single-handedly got breakdancing removed, which probably shouldn't have been in there anyway, because wrestling's out, which was action Olympic sport, but yet breakdancing's in, which I don't know how anybody beats American breakdancing. It shouldn't even be on the map. We made it up in the 80s. It became drug gangs. It was great. Anyway,
yes,
the point is, Electric Boogaloo didn't get paid. Whatever. Let's just move on. Actually,
crazy
when I was a kid, I had the Michael Jackson glove. 100%. And, the pants, MC Hammer pants, all that. But I really wanted to get sponsored by a refrigerator company so I can get big pieces of cardboard for my breakdancing. True statement. 100%. I cannot believe I just admitted that.
We all have to promise.
All right. How did they get a hold of you? And who do you want to get a hold of you and where?
All right. If you're a big company who's tired of agencies making you promises and you really actually want to get results, big agencies, go to lilianraji.com. That is my big agency. That's me doing everything for you. If you're an entrepreneur, still building your business, still understanding, or if you can't afford $10,000 a month, I'm sorry, I have to say it, go to the PR Advisor. That is my advisory section, which is how I teach you how to do everything you need. We have consulting calls, but you're the one doing the work. So lilianraji.com if you want me to do work for you, thePRadvisor.com if you want me to help you figure out what to do and you do the work.
Awesome. I appreciate it. Lilian, thanks so much for coming on the show today. You rock.
Thank you. Oh my God, an hour already? Wow.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing how much fun it is spending time with me. That's what I tell everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. I see it.
I'm going to put you in the periwinkle room. I'll be right back with you.
Okay.
Thank you so much for coming on. Listen, everybody who made it to this point, thank you so much for listening and watching. They've never been promoted. We're here to help entrepreneurs get better in entrepreneurship through some humor, through storytelling. I would, if I have any questions on PR, I would tell you, reach out to Lilian. She will shoot you straight. I kept trying to bait her to do more of her rants, which because they're hilarious and they're very honest too, which is fun. Get a hold of her. At the sites we've mentioned there. I'll put it up one more time. PRadvisor.com if you're a smaller organization looking to figure out how to use this stuff. And also lilianraji.com if you're a little bit bigger and you can afford actual proper PR strategy, execution. Get a hold of her. Everybody, thank you so much for listening. Get out there until we meet again. Go unleash your entrepreneur. Go cut the ties, all that crap holding you back. Be free from it so you can be awesome and be great. Have a good one.